In the last few videos, I've been talking about how the body works, how shifts within the body create feelings, and how these feelings are there to activate a response. And when that response doesn't happen, well, that activation continues. And over time, that's what starts to create symptoms. Now, when people begin to see this, there's a very natural question that comes up. How do I actually know when something is coming from my body as a feeling, or when it's coming from my mind as a thought? Because they can feel quite similar, but they're not the same. The feeling tells you what's happening. The mind tells you a story about it. So in this video, I want to share with you 3 simple signs that might help you tell the difference. Sign number 1. Feeling comes first. A feeling arises in the body before any thought about it. There's a shift, a response, something that is felt. And then, well, the mind begins to interpret it. For example, you might notice a feeling arise, a sense that something isn't quite right. And almost immediately, something in you says, no, it's fine, just keep going. But the feeling comes first, the thought comes after. Sign number 2. The feeling is clean, but the mind adds the story. The feeling itself is just information. It reflects something about the situation. It doesn't explain, it doesn't judge, it doesn't create meaning. But then the mind comes in and starts to add a narrative. Why it's happening, what it means, what you should do about it, who's to blame. For example, you might notice a feeling of irritation or something not sitting quite right with you. And then almost immediately, something in you says, I shouldn't feel like this, or this isn't appropriate. But remember, the feeling was clean. What comes after is the mind. And most often, the story that it tells isn't very accurate at all. Now, sign number 3. The feeling merely reflects the situation. The mind personalizes it. A feeling arises in response to something real in that moment. It relates to what's actually happening. But very quickly again, the mind takes that feeling and turns it into something else. A judgment about yourself or someone else, or what this all means. For example, you might notice a feeling arise in a conversation. Something doesn't feel quite right. And then almost immediately, the mind turns it into, maybe I'm overreacting. There's something wrong with me. Just remember that the feeling reflects the situation. The mind makes it personal. Now, this isn't about acting on every feeling immediately. Can you imagine? It's about learning to recognize what is coming from the body and what is being added by the mind. Because when you begin to see that clearly, well, you start to understand what your system is actually asking for. And then, when the right response begins to happen, the activation doesn't need to continue. And that's where things start to change. So just begin with this, very simply. Next time something arises, pause and ask yourself, is this coming from my body as a feeling or from my mind as a thought? And just notice what comes first. Because the more clearly you can see that, the less you end up working against yourself. And for those of you with ongoing fatigue or other symptoms, this is where the shift begins. Now, if you'd like to go deeper into this, I'll be running a short workshop where I will take people through this in a very practical way. You can find details about this and other things below and through the website. But for now, just stay with this simple question. Is this coming from my body or from my mind? In other words, is it a feeling leading me to do this or a thought? Thanks for watching. See you next video. Bye.